Hey Facebook, hope everyone's doing well. Happy October. It is October 1st. It already feels like fall, obviously, if you're here in Raleigh-Durham. It's definitely been fall the last couple of nights, definitely getting a little chilly out there. Warm during the day, but we're getting that fall chill at night. It's October, our favorite time of the year. Corey and I were actually married in October 14th, so we got an anniversary coming up. But this is just one of our favorite times of year, and feels like as soon as it hits October 1st, we're allowed to start talking about Halloween and Thanksgiving and all the fall holidays. So wanted to take this morning, got in a little bit early before we opened up today. We spent a lot of time talking to new customers, returning customers, about how to use hemp, what hemp is, and what I call kind of hemp 101. Although hemp is now, it feels like hemp and CBD has been a thing for a while. I mean, it literally just really got going in 2016, became federally legal in 2018, and we've had our store here since November of 2018. It's still a very new thing, and there's still a lot of people who just don't really understand what hemp is, what makes it different than marijuana, or that it's related to marijuana, and just what is hemp, what is CBD, and why should I care, right? And so I wanted to make this video what I call my spiel, right? This is the hemp spiel. And it's one of the things that I enjoy the most is educating new people who have never used hemp, who have never used CBD, but may have a number of issues that they're dealing with that they could actually find some relief from hemp and CBD and just maybe don't realize it yet or haven't taken that first step. So first and foremost, let me say that I use CBD personally. I use it mostly for stress relief and relief of my ADHD. I have ADHD, I get very jumpy. Using CBD allows me to calm down, stay focused, run my business, and do all the things that I need to do as a business owner and a father of three and a husband, right? And so CBD has helped me with my ADHD. My wife has a much more impactful story. My wife has struggled with Crohn's disease since the day I met her, and well before that. And it, at one point in our life, was really debilitating and really changed and our lives, and really made us hit rock bottom. Her health was just really not good, and I unfortunately was not able to work, provide for the family because I needed to be home for the kids. And so it was that process, it was that experience from 2014 through 2017 that we went through that really opened our eyes to CBD and hemp and why this is so impactful. And so if you've ever watched my videos, if you've seen any of your stuff, you can see that I'm very passionate about this. Well, I'm very passionate about this because it has changed our lives. We hit rock bottom, and this helped us come back. And so I want to reach out to you. Many of the folks who follow me, you may or may not be our customers already, but you may be looking for relief. But if you are already our customers, you probably have friends and family members and loved ones who are dealing with some issues: pain, sleep, stress, anxiety, autoimmune diseases, all arthritis. There's just a whole host of issues that people are finding relief using hemp and CBD. If you think one of your loved ones, friend, family, or yourself may be struggling or could possibly look to hemp and CBD as a solution, please share this video with them. Okay, I know I'm going live right now, but it will be saved on our page. Share this, tag a friend or a family member in it, and say, hey, loved one, hey, mom, hey, dad, hey, sister. These guys kind of know what they're talking about. Sounds like they're dealing that CBD and hemp might help you with your sleep, may help you with your stress, may help you with that anxiety that we were talking about last week. Listen to this guy. So that's what I'm here for. That's what we do here in store, is we consult, we educate, we inform, okay? We also do a little bit of what I call destigmatization. Cannabis has been stigmatized for a very long time, and hemp kind of inherently absorbed a lot of that stigma. And so we also do a lot of destigmatization to allow individuals to understand that, one, this is not marijuana, but you know what? Marijuana helps people too. But hemp is not marijuana, and it's helping people in different ways, okay? So let's start. First, what is hemp, right? What is hemp? If you were asked that question in the 90s, most people were like, oh, bro, I got this sick necklace, bro. It's made out of hemp and it has glass in it, bro. Right? That was what hemp was in the 90s. When we, as consumers, thought about hemp, it was a fiber. It was not a very comfortable fiber. It was a very thick, itchy fiber, but some of us thought it was really cool. We had these hemp necklaces. We had these bajas. You guys remember the hoodie bajas that were made out of like hemp fiber? It was just a really thick, fibrous material, and that's all we really knew, and somehow it's related to hemp or related to weed, but we don't know how, right? Well, hemp is cannabis sativa. Cannabis sativa is a genus of a plant, right? Cannabis sativa L is the name of the cannabis plant officially, okay? The only difference between marijuana and hemp is the amount of delta-9 THC in the plant. So actually the definition of hemp versus marijuana or cannabis is really a US government or a government term, if you will, okay? Hemp is any version of cannabis sativa L with less than 0.3% delta-9 THC. Delta-9 THC is one of the most prevalent cannabinoids, and in marijuana, it tends to be the most prevalent cannabinoid or naturally occurring phytonutrient, okay? And it is the psychoactive phytonutrient, phytocannabinoid that gets people high, right? So when you consume marijuana, it's the delta-9 THC that's getting into your bloodstream that gives you the intoxication effect, okay? So in order to be deemed industrial hemp, okay, it has to have less than 0.3%, less than 1/3 of 1% delta-9 THC. To give you reference on that, right, most of your marijuana in places like Colorado, California, or even on the streets throughout the United States is going to be at least 15 to 20% delta-9 THC. Most studies show that you need at least 5 to 8% delta-9 THC to really experience the psychoactive elements. So at less than 1/3 of 1%, you do not have any psychoactivity related to consuming products that are made from hemp, okay? And so that's the definition of hemp. What is hemp? Hemp is weed that has no THC in it or very, very, very little delta-9 THC. That's the only difference. And so a lot of folks are really surprised when they come in my store and they see something like, if I can grab it, like this. Well, what does this look like to you guys? That looks like marijuana, right? That looks like marijuana. No, you know what this is, guys? This is dried cannabis flower, okay? You know what else it looks a lot like? Who likes beer out there? Who out there is a big fan of hops? You ever smell a bunch of hops? Hops and cannabis are related, okay? They're in the same plant family, okay? The Cannabisaceae family, okay? And so this is what dried hemp flower looks like. It looks just like dried marijuana flower because it's the flower of a cannabis plant that has been dried. So why do we carry this? Well, here's the big thing that you have to understand. We talk about hemp a lot, okay? Hemp is the plant. The plant produces CBD in its flowers. But there's an entire other side of the industry that we don't talk much about, and that's the industrial hemp industry. Because hemp is one of the strongest natural growing fibers. In fact, back in colonial days, we grew a lot of hemp here in America, and it was actually considered colonial tender. That if you took a ship back to Mother England full of hemp fiber, you know, it was almost as good as gold, okay? It was also, hemp seeds were kept on a lot of ships back in the day, sailing ships, okay? Because if you were to ever get shipwrecked or lose your sails, hemp was about the only plant and fiber that you could throw about anywhere that would grow quickly and create enough fiber for you to rebuild your sails and continue on your voyage. Crazy, right? So hemp back in colonial days and in early America was a very, very big part of what we did here in America. I might blow your mind to tell you that some of our forefathers, in fact, were hemp farmers. Abraham Lincoln was a hemp farmer. Thomas Jefferson was a hemp farmer, okay? In fact, one of Lincoln's best quotes, and if you don't believe me, Google it right now on your other window, right? Hemp quotes by Abraham Lincoln. One of Abraham Lincoln's favorite activities was to come back home after a long day at the White House, okay, and smoke a pipe full of hemp flower. That's right, guys. Abraham Lincoln smoked hemp flower The quotes are right there. It's indisputable history. This is real history, guys. Okay, so how do we go from an America where Abraham Lincoln is growing hemp and smoking hemp flower to an America in the 80s and 90s where hemp was considered the same thing as marijuana and was completely demonized? Well, that's the Controlled Substance Act, okay? We're not going to go into the politics today of why hemp and marijuana were made illegal. Let's just say that in the early days of America, hemp was a very, very popular industrial crop that we grew throughout the Americas, okay? A lot of that we sent back to Europe, a lot of it we used here, okay? At some point when marijuana became more popular, a different version of cannabis, and did get individuals quote unquote high, there was a political, campaign. Let's just be honest. It was a political campaign to demonize marijuana, but specifically to use marijuana to demonize Mexican immigrants and African American males, okay? And so throughout the 20s and 30s and 40s, we have cannabis hysteria, marijuana's killing people, it's illegal, 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 okay? There's this big campaign to make marijuana illegal. Actually, until 1930, the term marijuana was actually not used. The word was always and has always been cannabis, going back to the early Greeks who were throwing hemp and cannabis leaves on top of their baths and vaping hemp oil in their bathhouses, okay? So this is all established history. But in the 20s, 30s, and 40s, we demonized it. We gave it this Spanish terminology, marijuana, right? Which was a Spanish, or at the time a Mexican name for cannabis. And they labeled it marijuana so that they could automatically, in our heads, connect illegal Mexican immigrants with this drug that's getting everyone high and everyone's going crazy. So that's what we had to go through in the 30s and 40s and 50s. And what's so funny, though, is come World War I and World War II, all of a sudden we needed more fiber. And what were we doing as the United States? We were asking hemp farmers once again to once again start growing hemp for the Hemp for Victory campaign. Look that one up. Hemp for Victory campaign is when the country actually went back and forced farmers to start growing hemp for the war effort, right? And we grew hemp all the way through World War I and into World War II, and then we knocked it back off again because, hey, remember, marijuana, just like marijuana, right? And so back to being demonized. So for the last 2 or 3 centuries, it's been very demonized, has a lot of stigma attached to it. But let's fast forward to the 90s and the 2000s, right? Now marijuana is getting very popular out west. California, since '93, has legalized medical use of marijuana, and it's starting to get traction. People are starting to find relief. In 2005, 2006, a young girl named Charlotte Phoebe, and she's so famous for this, and we miss her because unfortunately we lost Charlotte to COVID-19 this year. But Charlotte Phoebe was a 6-year-old, I believe when it started happening, she was about 5 or 6 years old, and she was having chronic pediatric epilepsy. She was having numerous hundreds of seizures a day. And somehow or another, her parents started experimenting with cannabis with her. And in fact, thought that there was something there, and went to a local Colorado farmer and said, hey, can you grow cannabis? Can you grow marijuana for us that doesn't have THC? I think my daughter, Charlotte, might benefit from that. And that's the birth of a company and an industry that started with Charlotte's Web. And this strain that this company created was called Charlotte's Web. And it was a strain of marijuana that they crossbred with a lot of other strains, including old school industrial hemp, which at this point had never been grown for really. In modern day, no one was growing hemp anywhere. It was illegal, but even out west, it was being grown, or in Europe, it was being grown for horse fiber and fibrous and clothing material, stuff like that. It wasn't being grown for CBD. We really didn't understand that CBD was in hemp, right? And so we start crossbreeding, and all of a sudden we've crossbred these plants to this point where we have this really nice looking cannabis plant that's producing really nice looking cannabis flowers. It has very little THC, and all of a sudden the CBD level in the testing results was skyrocketing. And Charlotte starts using this product, and Charlotte goes from having hundreds of seizures a day to less than 3 or 4, right? Life changing. And she continued to do this, and very quickly we started to see that CBD and phytocannabinoids had true medicinal benefits, like we've always said they have, and the research really starts kicking in, and the push to legalize hemp begins, especially under President Obama with the signing of the 2016 Farm Bill, which allows individual states to go out and start their own industrial hemp program under the direction of their agricultural department. North Carolina was one of the first states to do that, as well as a bunch of states out west, and we start growing industrial hemp for CBD production, as well as a whole host of other issues, right? Well, fast forward, the epilepsy thing is such a big deal that now the first cannabis-derived pharmaceutical on the market by GW Pharmaceuticals in Great Britain is Epidiolex, and Epidiolex is CBD in a sublingual spray for children with Gravit syndrome and pediatric epilepsy, right? So here we are, the farmers are discovering the cannabinoids that are working, and the pharmaceutical companies are already jumping on board. Shocking, right? After hundreds of years, after 10, 20, 30, 40 years of it being completely demonized, a terrible thing, it's the worst thing ever, now people are starting to realize that, hey, where is it? Cannabis actually might have some true medicinal benefits, right? And everyone out west in California that's been using medical marijuana since '93 are like, duh, guys, right? So now we start exploring hemp and CBD. Fast forward to 2018, the Farm Bill is passed, which federally legalizes hemp, takes hemp out of the Controlled Substance Act. It's no longer a controlled substance, and any cannabis sativa grown in the United States that has less than 0.3% Delta-9 THC is now federally legal for interstate commerce, can be sold, and anything that you derive or make from that plant is also federally legal. And here we are now, guys, in the booming CBD industry. So why? Why all this, okay? Well, all the research that we have done has shown that hemp is rich in hundreds of cannabinoids. In fact, we've discovered about 180 different phytocannabinoids, or plant-based nutrients that are specific to the cannabis plant, okay, that each have its own medicinal properties, okay? So we've always known about Delta-9 THC, and Delta-9 THC is psychoactive, and therefore it helps with pain management, it can help with stress and anxiety relief, it can help with sleep, okay? CBD is not psychoactive, but CBD has been found to be an amazing anti-inflammatory. That's why it's helping with pain. It's been found to be an amazing anti-anxiety potential. It's helping people with stress and anxiety, and like Delta-9 THC, also helps people get good night's sleep. So here in my store now, I see customers who, for the most part, have one of three issues, if not all of them. They have stress and anxiety, especially in the COVID environment. They have pain management issues, okay, or they have sleep issues. The sleep and the stress and anxiety, or stress and anxiety and pain, also tend to connect with the sleep issues. So when you're in pain or you have stress and anxiety, you also don't tend to get very good sleep. And so that's what we're here for. That's what we do here, okay? So all of that to be said is that now hemp is legal everywhere across the country. You're seeing it in gas stations. You're seeing it in grocery stores. You're seeing it online, on Amazon, and of course at places like Modern Apotheca. Now at Modern Apotheca, like a number of our competitors, we specialize in really hemp and CBD and natural remedies, and that's it. We don't sell anything else here. And so what I do, and what my wife Corey does, is we spend our time researching hemp and CBD. We've used it to cure ourselves, and now we use all the research and information and science that we can find to help individuals find the relief that they're looking for. So let's talk about that. So we've now identified what hemp is, okay? Well, inside this hemp plant, and here's the next piece, is that CBD comes from, and THC comes from, and almost all phytocannabinoids come from the hemp flower, okay? We talked about all the other industrial things, and you can make all kinds of things from hemp fiber or the actual stem and roots of the plant. But the flower is where the phytocannabinoids are concentrated, okay? And so in order to make CBD products or THC products or any product that has phytocannabinoids in it, it has to have the flower, okay? There's a lot of bad products out there, especially online, Amazon, that promote X amount, it's hemp oil, okay? And people use hemp oil and CBD or hemp extract interchangeably. But hemp seed oil does not have phytonutrients in it, does not have phytocannabinoids. Hemp seed oil is good protein and it can be good for you, but it by itself does not have CBD. So if your product does not clearly identify how much CBD or hemp extract it has in it, and it only says hemp oil or hemp seed oil, that is not a CBD product, okay? So I mentioned this why? Because in order to make a flower, you have to have a female hemp plant. Male hemp plants produce pollen, but they don't produce flowers, and therefore they don't produce a high number of phytocannabinoids, okay? So we specialize in seeding, growing, harvesting, and drying the hemp flowers from female hemp plants. In fact, to get really beautiful hemp flowers like this, guys, this hemp lady has never met a guy in her life, okay? And that's another key. We specialize in hemp plants that actually are sexually frustrated female hemp plants, because what we've discovered is that when you keep female hemp plants away from the hemp male plants, this is cannabis as a whole, when you keep male cannabis plants away from female cannabis plants, the female flower never stops producing resin. Okay? As soon as it hits pollen, as soon as a girl's out there like, hey guys, I want some pollen, pollen hits it, oh my God, right? As soon as that pollen hits it, what happens? Well, we start having babies, right? So we stop making cannabinoids and we start making seeds, okay? So what we specialize in is getting these ladies and their flowers before the guys get to them. In fact, any high quality hemp farm, indoor or outdoor, is going to be grown no less than 15 miles away from any male hemp plants, or those male hemp plants are kept in a secure environment where their pollen can't escape. You want to breed your plants, and then you want to go to the farm and plant as many female plants as you can, so you can get as many hemp flower buds like this that have never met a guy and they're completely sexually frustrated and full of resin. So that resin inside of this flower is what has CBD in it, okay? So we dry this flower to about 62%. That's what makes it perfectly crunchy, okay? Now as a product, and in marijuana, right, we've always just smoked this flower. And you can just smoke this flower and you will heat up the resin that is locked inside of its cells, and you will consume CBD from the plant. Not everybody wants to smoke flower, and that's why this entire industry and all of these, I have it backwards, which side is it on? Over here. All these delivery formats were invented, right? So what do we do with this flower? Well, we take this flower and a whole bunch of other flowers and we put it through extraction. Well, what is extraction? Well, extraction is where most people these days are using CO2 extraction. But it's a process in which we put the plant in a vessel, in a tank, and we fill the tank with CO2 so much so that it really makes, and you filter it so that no plant material can come out and only the resin inside can be drawn out, okay? And then what you end up with is a very thick resin, or isolate. I don't actually have any resin over here, but I will show you. In a vape cartridge, okay, is usually you're looking, that is what hemp extract looks like, okay? It's a very thick, very viscous material, okay? And that's what you end up with, this golden brown hemp extract, which is absolutely rich in phytocannabinoids. Coffee break. So, now we've taken this flower, we've extracted the hemp extract, we now have the hemp extract, and what can we do? Well, we can now make any number of products to help you. And the reason we carry as many products as we do in about 5 different delivery formats is because every single delivery format has its own onset time and its own duration time, which means each product has its own ability to kick in within a certain time and last with you for a certain time, okay? So those products, let's start with, over here again, the first one, inhalables and smokables. Inhalables, okay? Well, what's an inhalable? Well, inhalable, like I was mentioning, if you were to burn this hemp flower, right, you're inhaling the smoke that has CBD vaporized molecules in the smoke. You absorb those molecules, those phytocannabinoids, through your lungs, and then they get directly into your bloodstream, and you feel the effects really, really quickly, almost instantaneously. So that's why smokables and or vapables is where we take the extract and put it into a vape pen or into a vape cartridge so that you can heat up the resin. When you inhale CBD or full hemp extract, that extract, that cannabinoid is absorbed by your lungs directly into through bypassing first pass metabolism, and you feel the effects instantaneously and for about 2 hours, okay? So vaping or smoking hemp extract is really good for situational anxiety, situational stress, or breakthrough pain management, i.e. I'm in an environment right now where I'm uncomfortable and I want to get comfortable right away. Well, I can hit my pen. For me and my ADHD, it's when I get a little too jumpy like I am right now, right? I take my hemp extract, deep breath in, deep breath out. Help me calm down, okay? Instantaneously, okay? But that's not really helpful for long-term pain management. You don't want to walk around vaping and smoking all day long, and in fact, a large number of our customers are completely not open to smoking or vaping at all. We totally understand that. Well, because we now have that extract, the next product type that we'll talk about is oil, sublingual oils. God, I can't do this backwards thing. Sublingual oils, okay? So CBD oil is where we've taken that extract and we've now put it into a carrier oil. Remember we were talking about hemp oil earlier? Hemp oil is an amazing carrier oil. I'm back. So hemp seed oil is a great carrier oil. The number one carrier oil in most of our products is MCT oil or coconut oil because it's non-allergenic and most people don't have allergies or immune issues or sensitivity to MCT oil while they do have with some other oils. I've also seen olive oil used, MCT oil, hemp seed oil, coconut oil, olive oil. There's all kinds of different fatty oils that you can use that you can infuse the extract into. But let's look at what a sublingual oil looks like, okay? Still has that golden color. You guys can see that, still has that golden color, but it's not nearly as thick and viscous now. It's been thoroughly infused into a carrier oil. And how do you take this carrier oil? Well, you take the extract, okay, and under your tongue and throughout your oral cavity, right, you have capillaries, okay? And these are part of your sublingual system that absorb nutrients through your mouth, okay, through those capillaries, and they also go directly into your bloodstream, bypassing first pass metabolism. So while CBD oil is not instantaneous, the process of going through the capillaries takes a little bit longer. It's about 15 to 30 minutes. So I can take this oil, I can put it under my tongue, and I have to talk like this for a little bit because it has to sit there. And my kids and I think this is so funny when I do this. I put the oil in. But you want to let the oil soak in under my tongue, and you can even switch it around if you don't mind, because you have capillaries all throughout your mouth, okay? And I'm not going to do it right now because I don't need to. I'm going to swallow it back now. But you want to allow, if you can, for that to soak under your tongue for 60 seconds minimum, for a minute minimum. If you can get up to 2 minutes, it's even better. The longer you allow it to soak in your sublingual, into your capillaries, the faster it'll kick in and the stronger it'll kick in, okay? Each one of these delivery methods also has a different absorption rate, okay? So when you smoke something, especially if you're burning it with a lighter, most people don't realize the vast majority of the active cannabinoids in your flower, you're losing to the smoke that you're not inhaling, and they're being burnt up by the flame because actual fire is too hot and actually burns through most of the cannabinoids. That's why vaporization is actually more efficient because it only heats up the product to the temperature needed to vaporize the cannabinoids and nothing else, doesn't burn any material, and therefore doesn't make any carcinogens, right? Well, when you're smoking it, 50 to 60% of the cannabinoids are being either burnt or lost in the exterior smoke. When you vaporize it, since there's no exterior smoke, you're getting 50 to 60% of the cannabinoids through your system absorbed. When you sublingually take it, it's about 60 to 70% through your capillaries, okay? The next product we'll talk about, so that's CBD oil. Okay, you take the CBD oil under your tongue, soaks in, takes 15 to 30 minutes to kick in, and then it has actually a longer duration, 3 to 5 hours. So while your inhalables and vapables are quick onset and quick duration, they hit very fast and they're over pretty quickly, your CBD oil has an intermediate onset, 15 to 30 minutes, with an intermediate duration, 3 to 5 hours. So most people take CBD oil as their everyday regular regimen 3 times a day. Breakfast, lunch, and dinner. I take my same amount of CBD, so I keep my stress at bay, I keep my anxiety at bay, or I keep my pain at bay. Okay, for me, I keep my ADHD energy at bay by taking CBD throughout the day. Okay, I will be honest, for most folks, especially guys, we're lazy, we're undisciplined, and we just don't have the patience a lot of times to let oil, which feels super hokey, soak in under our tongue. And so what we end up doing is swallowing it back fast, and the moment you swallow that oil back and it goes into your stomach, it's now an edible. It's now going through your digestive system, okay? And when you have an edible, edibles have their own purpose, okay? Your edibles are your long, extended duration, extended release, okay? So when you eat CBD, when you eat a cannabinoid, it goes through your digestive system. It does have to go through first pass metabolism, which can take 1.5 hours to 2 hours depending on an individual's metabolism, okay? So you take edibles for expectation down the road. I take 2 gummies in the morning before I get to work so that throughout the day, I'm relaxed and stress-free and my energy's at bay. Once it's in your system and gone through first pass metabolism, CBD can stay in your system for 6 to 8 hours, okay? So that's your extended release. It's also really, really good for people who need long-term pain management throughout the day, and also people who are having issues staying asleep at night, okay? So oil is really good for helping you fall asleep because it kicks in fast. Vaporables are really good for helping you fall asleep because it kicks in fast. But edibles take 2 hours. What edibles do is once they're in your system, they melt with you and stay with you for a prolonged period of time, allowing you to stay asleep throughout the night. So a lot of my folks who have sleep issues use an oil or a vaporable at nighttime to fall asleep, but they took their edible an hour or so before after dinner, expecting that to kick in once they're asleep and keep them asleep, okay? And so that's edibles. Edibles are when you eat the cannabinoid and it goes through first pass metabolism. About halfway between your sublingual and your edible are teas, okay? I actually have examples of all these. I haven't shown anybody anything yet. And I have a customer, so I will call you guys. We will finish this up, guys.